Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra, and I'd love for you to just go ahead and close your eyes. Take a slow, deep inhale and hold that breath. Feel it. Keep feeling it. Keep holding. Slowly let it go. We're going to do that again, but I want you to envision that inhale coming up, encasing, or let's say embracing, I like that word better, the heart center. And we're going to hold that breath. So take a slow, deep inhale. Keep holding. Feel like that breath is a buffer to the heart. And let it go. And then inhale both arms up. Bring the palms together. Release them to your heart center. Anjali Mudra, which is one mudra that correlates to the heart chakra. And close your eyes. And pausing here, let's take a moment to set our intention for our practice. And when you're done, go ahead, just release the hands, keeping the eyes closed. Focus on the breath and the heart center. So we've been working our way through the chakras. Today's practice is all about, the heart chakra, Anahata. And in Sanskrit, Anahata means unstuck or unhurt. And you might be thinking, well, how is that possible? Because our hearts get broken often as we move through life, right? But we are going to talk about why that is, and why, when you have a broken heart, it might be a sign of an unbalanced heart chakra. Maybe it has to do with expectations. We're going to get to all of that juicy stuff. We're just taking the focus to the heart. Its color, the heart chakra's color, is green or pink. And so this morning, let's work with the green energy. Go ahead and fill that space with a healing green energy, light, vibration. Set an intention as to what that offers you, right? So you could just set the intention that energy is healing and leave it at that. If you know exactly where you need healing and what you need healing about, you can add that on. I think my throat chakra can't wait till the next class. It wants its turn. And really try to take that focus to the heart space. What does that energy center mean to you? So I think initially when someone thinks of the heart space, they're thinking of love. But, when I describe it, I don't even use generally like romantic love. It's so much deeper than that. And of course, romantic love is a part of that. And if you've been following our little chakra series here, you'll remember that we've worked our way up through root chakra, kind of the baby stage. It's all about us and who's going to take care of us and our survival. We're just one. And then we got to sacral and we decided, there are other people around us. So sacral is about forming a relationship with somebody else. And then we got to the solar plexus and we decided, well, this is where we develop. This is about who we are, our personality, our characteristics, our self-esteem. And now at the heart chakra, yes, it's about relationships, but it's relationships with other people. It's relationships with the world at large. It's relationships with nature. It's relationships with the self. And then more specifically, relationships with self-love and our soul. So we have a lot going on in this energy. And when it's imbalanced physically, you're going to have issues with lungs, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers. And I want you just to think about that for a moment. As if you could isolate your body scan from the top of the shoulders to the bottom of the lungs, and then down the arms and into the hands. What do we have going on today? And so if you're noticing any tightness or you do have ailments in those areas, then this is going to be a great sequence for you this morning so we can help, find balance, level things out. So let's start off by inhaling the arms up. Exhale the hands back to Anjali Mudra at the heart. Sit up nice and tall. Let's take an upper body twist to the right. And I know it seems like there's a lot to remember with each chakra, but there are ways that the information ties in so you can help remember. So let's think about, while we have the hands together, can you take your focus to the sense of touch between the hands? And while you're thinking of that, exhale through center and come around to the other side. So each chakra has a sense that goes with it. Heart chakra, sense of touch. And don't we touch primarily with our hands? We reach out, we feel things, ooh, soft carpet, okay, weird feeling on my mat, right? Remember I said the hands are part of what becomes imbalanced with that energy center. So we can remember hands, we can remember sense of touch, and sense of touch should remind you about relationships because we want to reach out, we want to hug somebody or hold their hand. Come back to center, release the arms, inhale them both up, release back to the heart. And from here, we're going to stretch out the right leg. Keep that left foot tucked in, Janu Shirshasana. Pull that right hip back. Hands are reaching forward. Feel your mat or your floor or your blanket or whatever you're on, right? And then let's slowly lengthen and hinge forward. I want you to stop when you first feel that stretch, and let's hold it right there. Because with the heart chakra, we want to exercise compassion. So we are not diving into stretches. We're going to find that first, little twing of the muscle going, okay, here I am. And then when you feel it soften, come down just a little lower. If it never softens, you're fine. Stay right there. Self-compassion, lack of judgment. There can't be judgment in the heart chakra. That's where we're going to get to this idea of heartbreak. It might take us on a little leap of faith here. If you can come down any lower, go ahead. Keep pushing the back of that right leg down, unless you have purposely bent, the knees. That's totally fine. Soften a little bit more. And then use the hands to walk your way back up. Perfect. Switch the legs. Pull the left hip back. Sit up tall, hands forward, flex that front foot, hinge forward, find the first little bit of that stretch, hold it right there. So in the sense that the heart chakra is about relationships, it's specifically about your relationship with giving and receiving. So if you're already going, yes, I'm the giver, and you aren't open to receiving, you already know there's an imbalance here. So how can we practice receiving as much as we give, or vice versa? Go ahead, see if you can come any lower. And I think as we get through our discussion on Anahata, you're going to realize that the ultimate goal for balance in this energy space is unity. It's recognizing that we're all one and setting everything else aside. Go ahead, come a little lower. And you might recall that the word yoga translates to union. So we're bringing everything together. We're combining body, mind, and spirit. The heart chakra is the fourth chakra out of the 7 main. Go ahead, walk your way up. And so it's kind of the bridge between the three bottom chakras that relate more to the physical body and the three upper chakras that we're going to work our way through in this next week, which represent more the mental and spiritual bodies. All right, come on down onto your back, hug the knees in. Deep inhale, loud exhale. So go ahead and straighten out the left leg. I want you to take the left hand to the right foot or ankle, and the right hand is resting on the outside of the right knee. Energetically, I want to pull the foot and the knee to my left shoulder. So I'm just going to draw that knee in and imagine both hands are pulling to the left shoulder. So this should feel like a pigeon stretch. We just didn't open out the hip like supine pigeon. We're pulling in towards the shoulder. You should totally feel this in the right glute, the piriformis. Breathe through it. Let it go. Hug that knee in. Make circles with the right ankle. Switch it up. Same side, same thing. Left hand's going to grab the ankle or foot. Slowly pull in towards the left shoulder. Breathe. One more breath. Good. Release. Straighten that leg up to the ceiling. Circles with the ankle. You can switch directions as often as you want. Don't wait for me to tell you. Good job. One more time with this leg. Pull it in. Left hand's going to grab the foot or the ankle, pulling toward the left shoulder. Send your breath to the right glute. Good job. Slowly straighten that leg back up to the ceiling. Big inhale. Exhale that leg slowly down to the earth. And then relax. Can you feel the difference between the two sides? Okay, let's hug that left knee in. Right hand, lost track there of my directions. Right hand's grabbing the left foot. Pull in toward the right shoulder, hold it and breathe. And then hug that knee in, circles with the ankle. Okay, second one, do it again. Anytime you need to conjure up some energetic love, go back to that green energy. And release, stretch the leg to the ceiling. Circle the ankle. Last one, slowly bring that leg back in. Grab on, pull toward the right shoulder. Breathe. Inhale, straighten that leg up to the ceiling. Long exhale, release it down to the earth. And upon touching down, close your eyes, relax. Every time you can think about taking your focus to the breath, realize you're working on balancing the heart space. Any pose that we do where we're opening up the heart, like fish pose perhaps, or closing it off like child's pose, we're working on balancing the heart. Perfect. So let's go ahead and pull that right knee back in. This time, supine twist to the left. I'll let you do whatever you'd like to with the arms, as long as you keep that right shoulder down. So because the colors of the heart chakra are green and pink, any crystals in those colors will help balance it out. Rose quartz, jade, moss agate, malachite, kind of. Sometimes it's a strong stone, so you might want to be careful with that one. Go ahead, release. Stretch the right leg back out on the floor. Close your eyes. Just feel. Remember, sense of touch. We're going to feel what these poses and stretches are doing. And hugging that left knee in. Take your supine twist to the right. Keep the left shoulder down. Good job. Come back to center. Stretch out that left leg. Close your eyes. Take in all of the sensations. And then go ahead and roll to a side. That'll just simply be our transition to come back up. So stay there for a few breaths. When you're ready, go ahead and come on up. Remember I said shoulders were part of the heart chakra. So come into a comfortable seated pose. Let's work the shoulders a little bit. What I want you to do first is take the arms out. Drop them into scarecrow. Arms come forward. So we're going into eagle, Garudasana. Right arm underneath the left. Round the shoulders forward. Create a lot of space between the shoulder blades. Make sure elbows are shoulder height. And just breathe right here. So we've also been talking about what deity correlates to the chakras. And for the heart chakra, it's Ishana Rudra Shiva. And that's going to sound a little different. We're familiar with Shiva. Where does this Ishana Rudra part come from? Well, in Hindu scripture, Shiva has 5 heads. And that's not literally, it's more energetically, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And the heads represent the 5 elements. And each one points in a different direction. The 5th head looks up at the sky. Go ahead, release the arms, take them behind you, yoga mudra. Interlace the fingers, draw the shoulder blades in, stretch the knuckles to the earth. So you can feel how the heart moves forward here. We're working on the shoulders as well, deep breathing. And so Ishana is one of the names of one of those heads, and Rudra is another name for Shiva. And so Ishana represents prosperity, knowledge, kind of like a transcendental wisdom. Drop the chin. Feel the sensations. You might feel nothing here. I'm pretty tight. I've been tight all week, so I'm feeling everything. So just that head drop. Sent a whole new flux of sensation through my shoulders. Go ahead, release Yoga Mudra. Shake out the arms, lift the head back to center. Sweep the arms forward and up. Take them to Scarecrow. Elbows come forward. Garandasana. Left arm underneath the right. Round it out. Make sure you get a nice deep breath going here. And release, back to Yoga Mudra. Feel the shoulders weighting down. This time, let's just drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. And when you're ready, bring the head to center, release the arms, shake them out. And can we grab either a block or your blanket? We're gonna come on over into embryo, but you might want the block to rest your forehead on, or your blanket, or you don't have to if you don't mind coming all the way down to your mat. And just feel how we're protecting the heart space in this pose, right? Doesn't that feel good? Breathe into it. Breathe into the heart. Breathe into behind the heart, shoulder blades. Just enjoy the pose. Notice what you feel. Coming back to that sensation of touch. And then let's go ahead and move the prop if you're using one. Let's transition to rabbit here. And let's take the arms behind us, if you don't mind, into Yoga Mudra, so we can keep working the shoulders. If your shoulders, of course, don't like that, don't do that. It's okay. Make sure you're on the very top flat part of the head. If you want to, you could slowly kind of rotate the shoulders, dropping one down, then the other. And then let's slowly release the arms. Take the hips back to the heels. Stay right here for a moment. And then very gently come back up. Coming to table, hands and knees. So one might say that the quest of the heart chakra is true love, but that's more, I guess superficial is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, you need that, but it has to then develop into more like a self-love, a love for the soul. It's so much deeper than romantic love, so much deeper, where there is just bliss, happiness, peace, find your cat cow. And then, so what is the deal with heartbreak? What is the deal with betrayal? And all of those feelings that arise when that occurs. I'm going to tell you in a moment. I need to get you into a happy restorative space first. Bring your spine back to neutral. We're going to thread the needle. So if you need a prop to rest your shoulder and head on, you should slide that over. It's the right arm that's threading underneath the left here. So again, we're working on the shoulder, but we're also protecting, we're cocooning that heart space. And just close your eyes. So I wanted to read this quote to you. So this is by chakra expert Shai Tubali. And he writes, interestingly, the key not remaining identified with the role of victim is in our story. It's the expectation that people must never be disappointing, and our insistence that humans must be constantly trustworthy and never fail us that keeps our heart unhealed. He says, first of all, most people simply follow their own journey of needs and wills, and this journey sometimes no longer matches our own. This means that even stories of betrayal are more narratives that we create that emphasize only us at the center of our story. This again is the self-centeredness that makes our heart blind to the reality of the other. Wow, right? An expectation that everyone we meet is going to be trustworthy, they're going to have our heart and as the foundation of their interests. And while we want the people around us to be loyal and trustworthy, I love how he breaks that down into what if their life path is supposed to be different? What if they did just pop into our world for a little while, but then they had somewhere else to go? And we do fall victim to that storyline, right? Like, how could they up and leave? And then we do feel like it was us, and we're betrayed, and we're sad, and we're horrified, and it becomes that story about us, about me, about I, right? When in fact, if we were to look at it, and I know this is super hard because those feelings are very human and they're strong and they take over. If we were to look at it from this idea that they had to move on because they're following their heart chakra, I wonder how that eases the imbalance, how that brings us back to the meaning of Anahata, unstuck. When we stick with the story, we're stuck, right? When we let it go, when we forgive, when we realize that we are one with everyone and everything, then nothing else needs to matter, right? So I'm not saying it's easy to completely balance out the heart space because you have all the human characteristics thrown in, but I really resonated with his idea about that. I hadn't thought of it that way before. Kind of like it. All right, come on up to table, round right out into cat pose. Hold it there, but continue to breathe. And then release the spine, thread the left arm underneath the right. Again, if you need to come down onto a prop, then that is totally what you should do. Yeah, we can't, I mean, if you think about what I just said and bring it onto the mat, right? Like our body might have some other agendas for us. The mind is going, yes, thread the needle. The body might be going, no, don't. And so they might have their own agendas. How can you find balance between those on your mat? I'm going to say it's most likely the props, or it's backing out completely, coming up with your own pose right now. Now, deepen the breath. That you can do in any pose, right? Stay there for a few more breaths. When you're ready, let's come back to table. And this time, walk the hands forward just a little bit. We're finding modified plank, mini chaturanga. Open up into cobra. Hold it right here, wherever you're at. Just feeling the heart moving forward. Right? Pull the head back just a little bit. You can feel how this is a heart chakra pose, can't you? Good job. Slowly come down. So I'm just coming down enough where I can get my hands off the ground and I can still keep my shoulders and head lifted. Yoga mudra. Take the arms behind you. And then imagine that I'm gently pulling on your wrist, so helping you get a little lift here. Breathe. Heart moving forward. And then slowly release everything down, right ear to the mat. Let it go. Take your focus to the parts of the body touching the earth. Take your focus to the breath. Go ahead and turn your head to the other side. And then bring the head to center, replant the hands. Go ahead, push back up into table. We're going to take this into puppy or half dog. So arms are reaching forward. Drop the forehead to the earth. And then, now you might need to make some modifications to that pose. Do that first. So if you need a prop under the forehead, go ahead and grab that. But what I want you to work on, remember heart chakra is not just shoulders and lungs, but arms as well, hands as well. So I want you to work on the upper arms rotating outward. And so notice when you do that, there's more space created between the shoulder blades, and then fingertips gripping your mat gently, and then create space underneath each palm, as if you had like a really pretty shell underneath your hand and you didn't want to crush it, just a little space there. Give me 3 deep breaths. Good job. All right, slowly walk it in. Sit back on your heels. You need the bolster for this one. We're doing a supported back bend to open up the heart chakra. So if you have a bolster, take it behind you horizontally, across your mat, right behind you. I'm going to give another variation because this whole body is having a lot of struggles this week, and I don't think I can do a supported back bend. My back and I'm not sure we're speaking. I'm speaking to it. It might not be speaking to me. Anyway, so I'm going to switch to a blanket so that it isn't such a large system of support. Totally up to you. Either way, sit right as back as close as you can to whatever you're about to tip on over. It could be your block too. And then gently lay back, get the shoulders and head on the earth. Feet wide, knees together. Let's rest our hands on the heart. And close your eyes. So I want to link what I said about the heart being about relationships with what I said about the heart needing to find unity, oneness with all. And what I want to toss out there is this idea that if the heart chakra is constantly about relationships, isn't it true that our relationships are constantly in some type of state? In other words, we're in a state of love, or we're in a state of anger, or we're in a state of upset, we're in a state of sadness with somebody. Each relationship we have is in a state of something. I guess what I'm tossing out to you is, does it have to be? In an ideal world, we are such in the ideal world right now. In an ideal world, does it have to be that way? So if I'm relating to you, I'm one half of the story, you're the other half. Do you see how when we get this concept going about unity and non-judgment, that if the heart remains constantly open, then maybe there isn't a word such as betrayal, or there isn't a word such as hatred. We're just, it's almost as though you see somebody else as a soul or spirit here on earth, and you know that they have their own path that they have to go through. And so nothing that person does or says really gets in and impacts me, because I get it, that's their path. But the heart has to be so open to be able to see it that way, which is why I'm saying that this is such an ideal for the heart chakra. I think mainly on earth, it's going to be a constant flux of balance and imbalance, but ideally, we don't recognize somebody perhaps then as hurting us. If somebody hurts us, again, we're the victim of that story. We find a way to automatically forgive with this idea that it's not about us. They're doing their thing, they're following their heart chakra path, and we are remaining kind of connected to one and all. Remember, we talked about connected to relationship, world, a God, yourself, your soul, nature. So this is an intense chakra. There's a lot there. My intention is simply to plant a seed that you come away with and go, okay, that part was really interesting. I want to think about that. All right, you have your hands on your heart, so let's take a deep inhale and hold it. Huge exhale, release the arms down wherever they want to go. And let's just take a few more breaths here. Your focus on the rise of the chest, the heart space opening. Maybe you're focusing on, breathing in that green healing light or energy, vibration, whatever you want to call it. And then, however it's easiest for you to get back up, especially if you're on that bolster. So I'm just going to give a moment of space here for everyone to work their way back up to sitting. Take your time. If you need to roll to a side first, you should do that. No hurry. We're just setting up for another restorative pose. When you're ready, One block out behind you, medium height. You can change that if you want. Take the bolster out behind you. Grab your blanket if you have one. Mine is very small, rectangular. I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to just set it on my thighs for a moment. And then go ahead again, lay back. Take that blanket. We're going to rest it right on the heart. Stretch out your legs. And then palms open. We've been talking about what mudras go with each chakra. So far we have Anjali Mudra, right? Prayer pose. We've done Lotus Mudra before in classes. We'll do it again later. But the other one that I wanted to teach you for the heart chakra is you're going to take the middle finger and the ring finger to touch the tip of the thumb. So we're doing this on both hands. So right now I have my index finger and my pinky stretched out. The tip of the index finger curls in to touch the base of the thumb, that big knuckly kind of area right behind it. So I've got the index finger curled in, the tip's touching the base of my thumb. The next two fingers are touching their tips to the tip of the thumb. The pinky stays outstretched. There you go. So that's a heart chakra mudra. It's been used for thousands of years to protect the health of the heart. And I want you just to imagine that this blanket is just a shield for the heart to also protect it. And then we've also been talking about how each chakra has its own bija, seed sound. And remember, we just recently did solar plexus, and the sound was Ram, and that was easy to remember because the animal that correlates to that chakra is a ram. And so I kind of think the seed sound for the heart is also easy to remember because think of all the things you love, and just, I guess I kind of think like, well, okay, I'm going to be honest, like a chocolate fondue is something I love. You would probably think that would correlate to the stomach, but no, I'm correlating that to heart. And so I'm going with this idea that it's yummy, or someone you love could be yummy, I guess, as well. But the seed sound is yum. Y-U-M, yum. So we're going to chant. You have your hands in their hand pose, their mudra. We'll chant it 5 times together. And of course, if you don't want to chant, just listen or say it in your head when you're ready. Ya. And can you feel that in your heart? Ya. 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 One more. Ya. Let it all go. Relax the hands. Relax the breath. Noticing sensations. Feeling that the heart is protected, shielded, loved. For the heart to be so open that we are receptive to all, we have to step away from the ego. want you to picture in your mind's eye an antelope. That is the animal associated with the heart chakra. An antelope is graceful. And I want you to imagine with each little, I don't know, they kind of have a soft prance, don't they? But they are able to easily prance over ego. They can get out of its path. Picture that. Take on the characteristics of the antelope. And just be there for a moment. Stay right there in that space. The heart chakra is about love, it's about generosity, it's about dedication, it's about empathy and compassion, it's about trust, acceptance, and then forgiveness, which we talked about. And what blocks that balance in the heart chakra are these ideas of abandonment, fear, rejection. Perhaps, have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you lost yourself? That would be a blockage to the heart chakra. And so the things that help release all of that, crying, hugging, touching, expressing your needs. Remember, we started out talking about, the relationship between giving and receiving. Expressing your needs and then receiving what you need back. It's a wonder, right, that this heart chakra is ever balanced. The heart chakra kind of starts developing in adolescence. That's when you start thinking about romantic love, but it really develops between the ages of 21 and 28. And we are just going to take a deep inhale here. Hold the breath one more time. Huge cleansing exhale. You can go ahead and set the blanket off to the side. Again, however it's easiest for you to work your way slowly back up. Take your time, pause. Make one movement, pause. And then when you are up, let's move that bolster again. Over the block. Come back over in the table. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog, walk it out. So remember when we were in half dog or puppy, we pretended we had shells under the palms of the hands. Do that again. Fingertips slightly gripping. Let the pinky and thumbs grip just a little bit more. Roll the upper arms outward so you create space between the shoulders. Breathe into the heart. And when you get to your next exhale, let's gently bring the knees back to the earth. Untuck the toes, walk the hands in so you can come up onto your knees. We're taking the hands facing, or fingers facing up, right behind the low back, sacrum area. And I'm just gently going to push my hips forward. You might want to take your shoulders and pull them up, round them back and down so you really feel the heart center move forward. And then just slightly tip the head back. Elbows are drawing in towards each other. A very gentle variation of camel, Ustrasana. Can you see how this is a heart chakra pose? I should say, can you feel how this is a heart chakra pose? Deepen the breath, don't hold it. Good job. Come back to center. Release the hands back to the earth. We're going to take this to Balasana. We opened the heart, now we're closing it off. Any props that you want to use are fair game. And then just close your eyes. So I didn't specifically come out and say this, but perhaps you've already gathered this, that the element that the heart chakra is associated with would be air, right? Lungs, we've been focusing on the breath. So it's that beautiful element of air, the relationship that we have with our breath. And we were talking about all these different relationships, right? While you're in child's pose, think about the relationship between the heartbeat and the movement of the breath. Keep focusing on that. If you have your head turned to one side, go ahead, turn it to the other. When you're ready, very peacefully make your way back up. Come to any seated position. And then go ahead and let the left hand grab onto the right wrist and just gently work it out. The left hand is then going to just massage down through the palm of the hand and through each finger. Nice. Go ahead, switch to the other side. I'm giving a little love and attention to one of the parts of the body attached to the heart chakra. And then when you're ready, go ahead, inhale the arms up. Feel the touch of the palms coming together. Release them down to your heart, Anjali Mudra. And then keep the heels of the palms together. The thumbs and the pinkies stay together. Everything else opens, right? So that's Lotus Mudra. Created a little flowery vessel here. Close your eyes. Fill it with your intentions for Shavasana. And when you're ready, release the mudra. Open your eyes. Grab everything and anything you want for Shavasana. And go ahead and settle into that space. You'll hear my voice when it's time to come back. back to your breath and the heart space. And as you allow that breath to deepen, invite some movement into the hands, into the feet. And you might find as you deepen that breath even more, if you want to stretch even bigger, go ahead, sending the arms wherever. Maybe you hug the legs into the heart. And when you're ready, go ahead and gently roll to your side in a fetal position. And taking a gentle breath, go ahead and push your way back up into any seated pose. Deep inhale, loud exhale. And then inhale the arms all the way up. Again, feel the touch of the palms come together. And then exhale them home into Anjali Mudra at your heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.